Hello, listeners, and now we're watching a heartwarming family scene. Leave him, woman. He must make his own way in the world.
We are a fine farmish people. It is time for our son to go out in the world and attempt agriculture with no training.
And those chickens are just having a little whispered conversation to each other. I heard that guy's a dick, and words to that effect.
He just turned into Alex Kidd and ate a rice ball.
Are you gonna have your farm? Yeah, I'm sick of it. Thanks, old man.
Yeah, farming isn't actually economically viable anymore. It's all getting sold out to vast agribusiness. Enjoy being tortured by Monsanto.
Hello, I'm Yahtzee Crowshaw, and this is my friend Gabriel, and we're playing the fuck out of some Harvest Moon for the SNES.
Did you have Coke before I got here?
No, I just wanted to mix things up a bit with the intro.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the well-known first installment of the popular farming simulator developed by Natsumi, I believe, for various Nintendo platforms. This was on the SNES, of course.
The snooze.
I started a game already because I wanted to get past all the setup stuff that takes quite a while, so we can get straight to the lovely farming.
Whee!
I keep forgetting it's the right button for Japanese games.
I hate that. It's just triggers my weird little not right button in the head.
Yes, we are a farmer. See, this was farming sims before I'll just water that bit of floor because while I sort out what the controls were.
Before microtransactions.
Before fucking Farmville made it a sinister thing. This was just a nice, gentle game about growing things for no benefit except
Holy
yourself.
crap, you can jump little fences!
And today's the day we pick our turnips.
Yahtzee was actually real excited that it was turnip picking time.
So when you get to the farm, it's just a load of overgrown shit, fenced in. You have to.
You got to fence in your overgrown shit.
You got to plough your fields, and you got to plant your shit, plant some grass, and then you're farming. I'm making some serious money at last.
Hey. Are turnips the new popular nouveau cuisine vegetable with the well-to-do hip kids?
I just like it because it reminds me of Blackadder. Turnips are the cheaper and faster growing option, but you don't get as much money for them. At this point it is spring. There are 4 seasons. I will not spoil what they are, but it's currently spring and you can only grow turnips and potatoes in spring.
Potatoes!
In later Harvest Moon games they add a lot of different crops, but this is the pure experience.
I notice you've got the little divots left into the crop squares, because otherwise you can't actually get in and water all of them.
Yes, this is a well-known issue with the SNES Harvest Moon game. If you just do a block of 9 seeds, you won't be able to water the one in the middle when they start coming up, because you can't walk through a flowering plant.
Yep, learned that the hard way back in the old days.
Well, at least it's not like in Minecraft, where if you accidentally walk over your crop, it has a chance of just uprooting itself and spraying across the floor.
I don't know, I kind of like that accuracy. I actually did some agriculture. I worked in the Northey Street City Farm when I was on work for the doll.
Aren't you just full of surprises?
Yeah, it's actually a very fun way of spending time.
I picked Harvest Moon because, I feel we've been getting away from our original stated remit of playing incredibly boring games. And I suddenly remembered this one I used to play the shit out of back when I was first into SNES emulation. Because it gets strangely absorbing, this game. You just fall into a pattern of, alright, tomorrow the turnips will come up. I just gotta hold on for one more day so I can get my turnip money.
While we were getting food earlier, Yahtzee actually said, yes, I've got to get upstairs, my turnips are coming in.
Yes.
I was just like,
Yes, it's
actually attached to your little farm.
It's a euphemism for pregnancy. I was impregnated by a thing.
By the insemnoid from the terrible, I think early 80s film of the same name.
But I do love Harvesting Day because Harvesting Day is simultaneously New Seeds Day. You get an excuse to go into town and throw things at the faces of women.
And not get arrested for it by the fucking Nazis of the Queensland Police.
Shit, I forgot to bring something to town that I can throw into a lady's face. I better go and grab something from the forest.
The entire dating system in this game is essentially the Fedora guide to women. It's like you just throw gifts and niceness at a girl and eventually she'll bang you.
Yeah. Are you saying that's inaccurate?
Probably. I don't know. What do I know about dating?
Well, it's not like there's much man meat on offer in this small farming community. They're
That's
probably
usually,
grateful for this attention from any thing with a Y chromosome that isn't also their dad.
Yeah, being the best of a bad situation is an excellent way to get laid.
Berries, that'll do. Now,
Berries.
What
are all these forest dwellers doing?
I don't know. I think they just come here for their homosexual cottaging experiences.
What would you call outdoor cottaging? I suppose camping?
Fuck, night fell. Now there's no one I can throw these berries in the face of.
You can't throw grapes at women at night. That
wait.
means you're declaring war against her kin.
Wait, maybe the bar's open today. Aha! I think there's a lady in here I can throw berries at. Yes! You! Accept this gift. Yeah!
I'm Eve, nice to meet you.
What? Aren't you going to acknowledge the berries I just smeared on your face? You bitch. Oh, nice. Oh, she knows how to touch my buttons, this lady. She immediately lickers me up.
Now she'll touch you.
No, man, this lady is speaking my language.
Thanks for the grapes. Here, have a shot. Here, if you get tired, relax.
I like to think she immediately fermented those grapes, and that was what she'd come up with. She fermented them between her baps.
Yeah.
She's got a little thing in there.
I imagine she forced them into, her left ear, some steam came out her right, and then just clear alcohol dripped out of her nipple. I think she's some sort of horrifying machine.
Now, you got to put all your stuff in the hopper before the end of the day, or you won't get paid for it. But you can work as much as you like during the night. You can work yourself to exhaustion, and the next day never actually happens until you go to bed. It's a useful feature.
Hey, great.
Yes?
That's pretty much what's happening with our small farmers these days.
Potatoes, bam! That's right, I'm the best farmer.
You can basically jazz hands potatoes. Just sha-sha.
Yeah, I mean, people exaggerate the amount of expertise that goes into farming, I think.
Just kick the ground a bit, punch a fucking seed in there, walk away, come back in 4 days, and vegetables. How hard is it, you fucking hill folk?
Throw seeds into the air and hope for the best. God will provide. Well, this is going to continue in this vein for quite a long time. So
Jesus is my agricultural expertise.
we should probably start on the topics as soon as possible.
Your thing closed, but I remember the first thing being, Batman,
Yes.
Arkham Knights.
Yes. Uncharacteristically for me, I watched the trailer that was put up recently of it. Because it's a...
Sequel to the incredibly popular Batman Arkham City, I believe.
Well, yes. I mean, technically there was Batman Arkham Origins in between, but that was not developed by the same guys. And you can see it, I find. I was writing about this week when I was talking about how you never really hear about the names of people involved, or in some cases even the studios are involved if it's the same franchise.
I think, again, we've discussed this before. I think that's problematic in giving...
People only go by the franchises. They don't go by who's actually making it and what kind of skills they have.
It's like how while they were with Nintendo, Rare was like symbol of quality.
Please rain, please rain, please rain, please rain.
Yeah.
My dog's called Ming, by the way.
Ming the Merciless?
Yes. Please
Sweet.
rain, please rain, please rain. Fuck! I have to water shit tomorrow as well.
This has been Australian agriculture for about the last 50 years.
Well, it's mostly sunny all the time.
Except then, that's Australian agriculture. Except then we had a bunch of flooding, and then we had some water back. And then we had too much water. That's pretty much Australia.
Yeah, it's always too much or not enough of something.
Half of the year the country's on fire, and then a torrential fucking downpour will flood the fire out.
Oh hey, my second patch of grass sprouted. Nice.
What's grass for? Do you feed like animals with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the money. I'm going to buy some more grass seeds and crops, I think. So yes, Arkham Origins, I felt, had a pretty distinctly different feel to the other games. The other games were a little more exaggerated, I'd say, a little more cartoony. Origins feels a bit cleaner, a bit more grounded in reality, because all the bosses are more mercenary types. And the Joker in Origins doesn't feel like the Joker in Arkham Asylum or Arkham City.
I didn't really bother playing Origins.
If you ask me. Because in Origins, I always think Joker's a little bit too in control and charismatic, whereas in the others, he's kind of flustered and silly at times.
Well, I mean, the Joker's one of those characters who, a bit like Batman, has been around for so long.
And he's been interpreted in
So many ways that, there is no, much like, his origin story, there is no the Joker.
Yeah, because the basic...
Which plays, I think, is good for him.
The basic thing about Batman and Joker is that it's a classic narrative struggle between the forces of order and chaos, and that can manifest in so many different ways.
I think that was rather well handled at the very end of, not the very end, but at the end of Dark Knight. It was just, he saves him still. And Joker's just laughing, knowing that, this is great, there's going to be something we get to have fun, always.
Just a shame, Heath Ledger immediately died. Sort of added a sort of overtone of irony to the whole situation, didn't it?
You motherfucker, you selfish prick. Put the fucking pills down, not good for you.
See, when I played this game when I was a kid, this was the first bitch I married. She's my favourite. I'm going to stare at her through the fence.
I love you!
She's thinking, that's strange, the air suddenly got weirdly cold and greasy behind me.
Oh, creepy stuff.
In another life, my beloved. Fuck! Seed shop's closed.
Well, you're screwed now.
Because it's Saturday. Of course it is. Bugger.
So she's gonna be your little digital wife? You're gonna get a body pillow made of her?
I think I'm
awkwardly Photoshop you hover-handing her?
I'm gonna find someone to throw berries at. Well, and speaking of the Joker in the Batman Arkham games, the developers, Rocksteady, the original developers of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, who are developing Arkham Knight, have come out and said, no, the Joker's not going to be in Arkham, whatever it is, Arkham Knight.
The Joker's like the Daleks in Doctor Who. Great, and then they get overplayed and overplayed and overplayed and overplayed and just become fucking horrible.
Yeah, I remember when they first introduced the Daleks and... Oh shit, I accidentally ate it. Oh well.
I bought you a present, but I ate it.
Oh, hey.
Just in the forest. Just say no, say no.
No coincidence.
No, it's not, I've been following you. Okay.
Oh, I'm in there.
Totes.
I'm pretty sure she's like the easiest girl in the game.
Of course. She's blonde and wearing a tube top. That's...
In many, many ways. Right.
It's like girl code for we'll probably fuck you for, like, a handful of sultanas.
You know what we do to easy girls? We smush my seeds in their face. Oh, that was the slightly dry line they give when you give them an average present.
Oh.
If they give them a present they really like, they have a different line.
No massaging your warm, salty essence into her pores.
Well, today was a bit of a write-off.
Yeah, because like when in the new series of Doctor Who, which is mostly what I'm presuming our listeners will have only watched because you're useless little shits.
Fucking newbies.
I am being facetious. Old Doctor Who is legitimately hard to get into, and you really only about need to watch a few episodes, like a few episodes per Doctor.
Yeah, you were never stuck with Tom Baker for 7 years, were you?
You never sat through Colin Baker. He had one good story.
Haha, I knew this grass was ripe.
One really good story, though, which
Unlike
was Vengeance on Varos, for anyone wondering.
Unlike other crops, grass grows back by itself without needing seeds.
Hey, good on you, grass. Self-reliant. It's
Thanks.
a crop that pulls itself up by its bootstraps.
Thanks, grass.
Grass!
You're a friend in this totalitarian economy. Fuck off, weed.
But like the first episode with a Dalek in it was a really excellent episode where the Dalek was like this murder machine that couldn't be stopped and was great.
Rain. Fuck. Carry on.
And then they got used every season, and just now they're just boring and terrible again. And like I really think you need to rotate your crop, especially in like long-running comic and
Rotate your crop, you say?
Yeah, rotate your crop of villains, because otherwise they just get horrible.
See how good we've got at this, listener. We've managed to work in farm references to our general banter.
Farm references.
I'm never sure what the birds signify.
Your dog and the birds are plotting against you.
Turnips are straight up. Turnips are the whore of vegetables.
Boom,
Not
turnips.
potatoes. Potatoes are a classy broad.
Turnips, they're up like me in the morning.
God damn, why is this game making me so filled with eroticism?
That is a question for the ages.
It's the overtone of finding someone to marry, I suppose. In later Harvest Moon games, you can play as a man or a woman. But
What? How dare they?
But I'm not sure if it applies to all of them. But when you're a woman, as soon as you marry, basically the game ends. You get to sit. You get to sit in the farmhouse barefoot and pregnant for the rest of your fucking life. Can't say it's not accurate.
Well, that was what it was like when humanity was an agrarian society of like a couple, 100,000.
Well,
you just had babies, and because your kids would die. Like, they just fucking die of, like, the mystery, which, now we know is disease.
But I would tell you about the time I did a temporary data entry job, entering data for the Department of Births, Marriages and Deaths.
You've discussed it briefly, but...
I was entering all these ledgers into the computer system from, like, the 50s, and it was all, like, families in rural Queensland. And as you do little things to make the job more interesting, my little thing was I'd make up imaginary stories and imagine the families in my mind. Like, quite a few times you'd see something like 50-year-old man marries 17-year-old girl and they've already got 6 kids. That
sounds like...
That would be a little story you could come up with.
That's, rural Queensland, yeah, because my mum is from, like, Western Queensland and grew up in the 50s and was raised Catholic. And from what I've discerned from her stories and the stories of my aunts and uncles, it is essentially Afghanistan now, but with a Kubra's... It's pretty much just Western Queensland in the 50s. A nun smashed my mum's head against a desk for writing with her left hand.
And fittingly enough, we're now in a church.
Yeah.
Now, do we agree with this fiery red-haired lady that church is boring?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Well, I don't think we're getting any sex from her today.
Well, if she's, devoutly religious, you wouldn't be anyway. And it wouldn't be the fun kind of sex. It'd be like, let's have a baby.
Oh, hey, let's bother the organist. Hey, I got an organ you can play.
You need to, maybe jack off before I get here or something. It might ease some of this off. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like listening to you deal with your bizarre sexual issues.
Well, that doesn't seem to help.
If anything, it makes it worse.
Possibly because I have deliberately chosen an incredibly boring and repetitive game, so my mind's just sort of flipped to its default setting.
Pussy, 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 pussy.
But
farming. Pussy, 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 pussy.
Reminds me of that Badger video. Pussy, 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 pussy,
I haven't
pussy,
seen that.
pussy, pussy, farming, pussy, pussy, pussy.
Okay, yes. Someone needs to add a basic electro dance track to the back of that, and maybe a bass drop. And, I say we'll be done for the day.
Well, the Badger video is old hat.
Oh.
Did you not see the Badger video? That was the one that went badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom. It was random humor at its best.
I've seen something like that about llamas, but it's more of a structured song.
Wait, I've remembered where the whore is on Sundays. I'm gonna go visit the whore.
This, for those wondering at home, is exactly how Yahtzee approaches real women.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a whore. No slut shamer I can't afford to, really.
Women mostly do that anyway. Guys like sluts.
Yes! This is where the slut is. Quick, let me in. Yes! Oh. Do you like my hat? My trilby's in the wash.
Yes.
Yes? What's wrong with that?
Men are always peeking. Grow a third goddamn eye to peek.
Oh, so she's fine with me getting out from her staring fixedly at my hot ass while I do it.
And she wants to try and get a little peek of some back schlong. Some undercarriage.
Yeah, well, I was after the side boobs, so I can only say fair square.
A little bit of tackle and shaft.
Weren't we talking about Batman a while ago?
Yeah, then you got onto an interesting tangent, and I like to encourage your waffling. It interests me.
Well, yeah,
I like it when people go off on their own weird little things.
Well, I saw the trailer, and gratifyingly, the good villains are in it. Arkham Origins was just a parade of shit villains. Which isn't... I guess they were trying to do, they're trying to keep it fresh with each game, but, Batman has a couple of really famous villains for a reason.
Well, the D-listers can be really interesting. Well, Batman Brave and the Bold, my favorite Batman series, and yes, that includes the, Dini animated one from the 90s, did excellent stuff with ridiculous Silver Era villains.
Well, I think when you're talking about a more mainstream project, like the Arkham games, you want The
gritty.
basic accessible villains who have a good natural chemistry with Batman. Because basically what you want in a Batman villain is basically the same thing you want in a love interest. You want a good chemistry between them. That's why I like villains like Two-Face and the Joker and Scarecrow, because they all sort of reflect an aspect of Batman back at him.
I think they've also managed to make decent gameplay boss fights, because that's the problem I think with Batman is some of his villains, like, you can't just have a boss fight that's Batman punching Killer Croc, because he can't punch Killer Croc hard enough, because Croc's, a monster.
It was a problem with the first Arkham game.
Yeah.
All the boss fights are basically just fight a bunch of guys.
Yeah, or, discover a trick. The, was the Mr. Freeze one the first or the second?
That was the second, and that's pretty much the best boss fight in all the Arkham games, because basically it's a boss fight of coming up with a new way to attack him each time.
Yeah, so it actually does involve kind of that Batman-y, how do I hurt this motherfucker?
Well, it's good because the Arkham games have that sort of Metroidvania aspect where you keep acquiring more and more abilities. It's good that they keep you using your imagination and the application of all the tools at your disposal.
I hear that's really hard, or like the hardest difficulty, like, 'cause you have to hit him with every single one.
Yeah.
That would be brutal. Because there's a few of those that are easy as fuck to miss.
That's a bit far, I'd say. That would just be obnoxious.
Well, no one picks the hardest difficulty level without, if you do that, what are you expecting?
Without a certain amount of understanding.
This is hard. Yes, Jimmy, you'll never be able to water them.
I always think, Scarecrow was my favourite villain in the first Arkham game.
Well, that had some great visuals.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really because I mean, the essential boss fight was fight a bunch of dudes, but it was just a sort of a fun...
And also there was a bit of a, stealth run-around bit.
Yeah. It was a fun expression of the Scarecrow sort of effect.
It was actually like one of those things... It was like the Mysterio fight in Spider-Man 2. It made me kind of interested in the character as well. Because here's a guy, he's no prime physical specimen. He uses his...
Yeah, fighting, especially Spider-Man, who actually does have super fucking strength.
He uses his mastery of the mind. And as an anxiety sufferer, that intrigues me. I would like mastery over anxiety. I give it to every bitch.
What?
Every bitch. Bitch in this case is a generic term meaning every person I consider inferior to myself. Before the feminists get on my case.
You want to give anxiety to everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was trying to work out what you're going on with that.
Then they'll know my pain.
That's a villain. That's a villain sentence, what you just said.
I'll be like Scarecrow, but I'll just call something like Angst Crow.
I can immediately see you in the Brandon Lee makeup now.
No, it's funny, my Cub
Scout
leader used to call me Mr. Scarecrow because my name's Crowshaw.
And you're tall and skinny?
He did not have a great amount of imagination, my Cub Scout leader.
I love the idea that you were in Scouts.
Yeah. I was a good boy.
The Scouts have like weird religious overtones. It's like
well, not really. The Scouts started basically as a preparation for military force. The idea was they'd just learn outdoorsman skills and
how to make a tent out of a German.
Well, that was the theory. All we did was like play touch football and that game where you sit on balloons till they burst. Occasionally go camping and they'd make us make eggy bread.
I like Red Rover.
I fucking hate eggy bread.
It's called French toast.
I like French toast. I don't like eggy bread.
There's a difference? I thought it was the same thing, but just...
Eggy bread was just a bit of bread soaked in egg yolk and nothing else, and fried. French toast usually has some sugar and cream, and cinnamon gets into the equation somewhere.
Oh, see, I have French toast as a savoury.
You're wrong to do that.
Yeah, I'll accept that judgment.
I like French toast breakfast, me.
I'm not much for sweets for breakfast.
I always feel like I'm being faintly judged when he says that.
You are. He's offended. He's mocking your masculinity by...
Well, hardly any point in me showing up, is there?
I walked here, you stunted little prick.
You could have called ahead.
Yeah, I love the blend of technologies, like the wooden TV there in the corner, which is a big TV too. That's a solid screen. I mean, it's a CRT, but still.
Yes! Nice. Free time.
Do you get, like, natural disaster grade weather in this? I can't remember.
Yes, you occasionally get hurricanes, and they
fuck your shit.
Destroy bits of your farm, and you have to bounce back from it. It's like Sim City in many ways. Right, you're coming inside, Ming.
So does Ming get sick if you leave him out in the rain?
I don't know. Well, I feel bad about leaving him out in the rain, so I don't.
Aw, yeah, you care about your little fake yellow dog.
Dear diary, rain tomorrow. Fuck yes. I'm gonna throw berries at all the ladies' faces.
Eat my berries. I must admit, I'm pretty easy for food presents.
Cleanse me, oh rain. Huh. Is that, oh, turnips are up. I told you they came up fast.
Is there a thing you can get that means you don't have to run back and forward with every fucking turnip?
Actually, yes. You get upgrades later on. Like, you get a special sprinkler that makes watering easier.
I think I got that, actually. That rings a bell.
And later on, you get a horse.
And it still doesn't reach the fucking middle square, which...
And when the horse grows to maturity, the horse has saddlebags. So you can lead your horse over to your vegetable patch and just stick the veggies in there.
I only really play this a little bit, so what's the end game like for it? Like, is there an end game, or is it just...
Well, basically you just work the farm for 3 years, and at the end of it, if you're not married and built a life for yourself, your parents come and judge you.
Your genetic line ends with you, you're a failure.
I'm fucking 12! I'll probably get married further down the line. I've got a farm to worry about.
No, this is like the old days. You should already be, on your way to being married to like an 8-year-old girl.
Well, the advantage of being the male character is that you can do that up to the age of about 60 in the farming community. I know, I entered their data. Well, I have to say...
Is that grass harvestable?
I'm testing that theory.
Nope.
No. It's hard to tell. I think it's the next stage of dark. Oh, gonna need more seeds now, aren't we?
Time to go.
I might go and look into seeing if I can get a chicken, actually. Because that's an egg a day.
Yeah, eggs are good.
I gotta say, though, I watched the Batman Arkham Knight trailer. And that's a dumb title, by the way. They're just going up with random Batman-related words to stick Arkham on the front of it now.
Apparently, like, I've read a thing.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard this.
I haven't looked into whether or not it's true or anything. I just saw a thing on Facebook. Apparently, like, Arkham Knight is some new character that DC's invented, which basically looks like Iron Man mated with Batman, and that's the villain for this one, is like some new threat that...
Yeah, that seems like it came up with the title before the concept sort of thinking to me.
Nothing too bad about that. Wouldn't be dealing with livestock.
Seems like this town is a town full of blue ballers. Show up and the shops are closed.
Welcome to Blue Ball Village.
Throw berries at people's faces.
Come on, giving me a wristy? So there are some movie adaptations on the horizon.
Yes, that was our next topic. I always think it's kind of a non-story when people say this such and such property has been optioned by Hollywood.
Everything gets optioned. Like, again, that's a fairly, in and of itself, that's a meaningless thing. Until someone's actually, pointing a camera at some shit or doing some post-production, generally ignore it.
Oh, do I not have the money?
You're poor, you fucking piece of shit.
Whoopsie.
I discovered that the other day, actually. I've been reading my diversity and education textbook, and I live $200 below the poverty line.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. I'm surprised, because I don't feel that, like, I'm poor. Like, I don't go out and just buy shit, but...
Well, $200, that's nothing. You could make that just like washing someone's windows. Then you'd be at an average level of income.
Yeah, I know. I have to aspire to the poverty line.
Yeah.
I'm not even a rung on the fucking economic ladder. I'm the dirt the fucking ladder's standing in. I'm probably not even that. I'm, like, not even the topsoil. I'm like a rock. I'm a bit of clay.
There's ambition for you.
Yeah, I aspire to poverty.
I aspire to be able to get welfare one day.
Oh, this is welfare. That's, the welfare is... Because apparently it's like $400... For a single, human being, it's like $400 a week, and I live on about $298 a week.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it doesn't seem that bad to me. But then I live like a fucking monk, so... It's your sweetie! Can I dry yourself up on your naked back?
Are you coming on to me? I can never tell.
Is this a date? Talk to the drunk. What does he have to say?
Well, I'll just sit on the floor a couple of times first.
Sure. No, you won't, you fucking drunk.
I should mention this is not an amazing localization job. But it's so hard. The Japanese all got weird letters and shit.
Whose fault do you suppose it was? Like, was it the Western translation team or the Japanese? I suppose it must be a Western translation team. Yeah.
Oh, well, obviously, yeah. I mean, Japanese aren't going to translate it to English. What do you think they are? Gaijin.
So the things that are getting adapted, and one of these I've heard about. The other one was news to me.
Yes, what's in development hell now then?
Well, Last of Us...
To go alongside Halo and everything else.
Last of Us, which is a strange thing to me, because I think a well-edited Let's Play of Last of Us is already the Last of Us movie.
Well, quite.
It's a very cinematic game. It has good cinematic cutscenes, and if you edited a good playthrough, that would be a movie. Like, you would have a fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, the story's been told adequately well, I would say. I mean,
it's kind of like Gus Van Sant's Psycho. It's like you're just going to be remaking something that's really already very visible.
Well, you could argue it'll take all those distracting gunfight sequences out.
Wouldn't you need, action sequences as being part of a fucking like if the Last of Us movie was just a road trip between an old guy and a young girl and there were no clickers, I think that's kind of missing a core point of Last of Us.
Oops, nudge the analog stick there. I think what it is that action
shit on your bed.
Action sequences is like a default for video games.
Yeah.
And Last of Us, I wouldn't really classify it as an action game, as in I wouldn't say like its action puts it beyond the standard level of action in a game.
No.
I would say it's a character drama game.
Yeah.
It's got the standard level of action, and its unique selling point is the character drama. So I wouldn't be surprised if a film sort of emphasised that over the action.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's gonna be like a fucking Michael Bay action piece, but still there'll be bits where they're a sneaking through a destroyed town, and
it is zombies though, isn't it? I mean, zombies sort of part and parcel with action these days.
Fungus zombies.
Because everyone loves them motherfucking zombies, don't they?
Well, to be fair, Cordyceps is fucking creepy. Like, have you seen, like, insects once they're fully taken over by it? Like, they don't move or anything, but it's gross. It's fucking gross and weird looking. And it makes my skin crawl and it gives me the willies.
If insects had souls, it would worry me, but they don't.
Yeah, insects are like pixels. They're weird to me. So, I don't know, Last of Us, like, it feels like one of those adaptations that I think is... What's a good game-to-movie adaptation? I'm sure there's one.
Now, there's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think Mortal Kombat was inoffensive. It was basically just Enter the Dragon, but, set out to adapt a load of stupid punch-ups to a film.
My brain's...
And there's plenty of films that are just about stupid punch-ups that are perfectly good.
My brain's telling me there's one.
Hello, whore.
If you wear a ribbon in your hair, you're a slut.
Grandpa is so strict. He's always like, if you suck more than 5 cocks of an evening, that's going too far, madam.
Look, if you like whose dicks you're sucking, then go ahead and suck dicks. That's...
Can I have a chicken today?
No. Yeah. I don't know. Last of Us is already movie enough to me. I mean...
Oh, I don't have the money. What the hell was that?
How are you so poor?
He just said, aha! Aha! Oh, sorry, it turns out I didn't actually have the money for a chicken.
Poor person!
Poor person discovered. Make the noise like Donald Sutherland at the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I love that scene.
I don't know why people in this community are jumping up my butt for being poor.
This is where Galt retired, that's why. You're not living up to the Randian ideal.
Yeah, he's the guy who lives in that big mansion in the corner of town.
The other thing that was getting adapted is Minecraft, which I'm presuming...
Now that's fucking dumb, isn't it?
Well, I'm presuming that is to cash in on the massive success of the Lego movie. Which apparently is really good, and
I've heard that, yeah.
I'll accept it. Like, because an idea done with love can be really fucking good regardless of whether it's a big, just dumb ad for fucking Lego.
I was watching a movie review, Mark Kermode, if you're interested, and they played a clip of the film. At the end of the clip, I just went, and that's a good sign.
Well, I think there's honest love to it, and I think that really will, the bits I've seen, that does come across in it. So that's
a funny joke. There's a Minecraft Lego, isn't there?
Yeah, and Minecraft is essentially digital Lego with properties.
It's the natural thing. Except, Minecraft, I think it's a bit more lacking in personality than Lego. I mean, what would be the plot of that?
Well, again, I think they're going...
A man falls in love with a pig.
They might go the Captain N and the Game Master element of...
Oh god, I couldn't imagine
someone getting sucked into Minecraft.
I would want to kill myself if that was the case.
Captain N and the Game Masters!
No, I've been thinking of doing Symphony of the Night for one of these, but I know you'd do that horrible way you'd say Castlevania.
Castlevania! Seriously, that's like burnt into my brain from years of watching Captain N.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Well, tough.
It gets on my nerves when I'm editing the video.
Castlevania! Seriously,
right.
watch the Captain N and the Game Master intro, because you're on YouTube and it'll be there. And the Simon Belmont they had in it was like this big, like, it was completely weird, because it's not how I think anyone's imagined Simon Belmont ever. But he was basically this big, jockish goof.
In like a flight goggles, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, I'm not... Like, they've just basically gone, well, here's a bunch of American stereotypes, let's work out what characters we can jam these into.
That was a bit weird.
Yeah, so Simon Belmont in that is like the big, college frat boy jock.
Yeah.
And
Surprised Mario was never on that show.
Wasn't he?
I guess.
I think it was...
I guess there was a Mario cartoon series, but it kind of falls outside the, the Dungeons and Dragons adventure cartoon remit that Captain N was occupying.
Yeah, because the Mario cartoon was just in universe. It was Mario. There wasn't like Billy Williams who's fallen into the game somehow.
Yeah, because that would have made us all want to kill ourselves.
Oh, Captain N.
Seems like it's quite easy to make us want to kill ourselves. We're on a hair trigger. We are.
So Captain N's one of your triggers?
Yes.
Ah, great. Found Yahtzee's triggers.
Yes. How dare you not
be
put
aware.
a trigger warning before you
not be aware that
Captain
you flip out over Captain N.
Now I'm gonna have to cut myself with the sharp edge of an NES controller.
Gonna shoot myself in the eye with a zapper. That can fuck up your cornea, I read that on the internet.
Well, all these, these film adaptation stories, it's always just slow news stuff.
Yeah, because until there are people actually filming shit, it's fucking meaningless. Because it was like when comic book movies kicked off and every studio was just like, buy comic properties.
I was brought into a Twitter conversation against my will last night.
How does that happen?
Well,
you can just ignore those, right?
Well, some fan of the Escapists, sent a tweet that named me, Jim Sterling, and Bob Chipman, and said, "Gentlemen, what are your feelings on The Last of Us being adapted to film?" I think Bob Chipman replied, and with all the names in the tweet again, so we all heard it, saying, he'll be more interested when this story is a little bit more than the creators saying, "Yeah, we'd love some movie money."
Yeah. I don't know. You can't just ignore those. You just
I wasn't paying attention. Did the TV say it was going to be sunny?
It is the blazing heat. You will toil in the farm.
Thank you,
It will
TV.
not rain. There will be no respite.
Thank you, TV, and your always accurate weather reports. I love fantasy world living, don't you?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. The weather report is always 100% perfectly accurate.
It'd be nice to be able to move outside of this 1 mile radius kingdom, but, he's rough with the smooth.
That's dangerous thinking there, Yahtzee.
Oh, look at that. I could sleep on that.
Almost got a lawn.
Oh, my potatoes are up.
Potatoes!
Now to get my potatoes out and show them to all the townsfolk.
Another good baked potato.
Everyone loves to see me spuds. Everyone loves to see me spuds, swinging back and forth on the end of my...
Reminds me of a Harry Enfield special he did on the North. And one of the running gags in it was just this northern farmer sitting on a tube train talking to the entire carriage and just no one even acknowledging him. And at one point, he finishes a bit and then just goes, "Hey up, who's seen my bum?" And then just starts pulling his pants down, and that was where the bit ended. And that's not just an England thing. Like, there are people in Australia that are a lot like that. Like, they have, the social disability that's not antisocial, it's pro-social, so they just don't understand you don't want to talk to them.
Harry Enfield was a bit generally weird about the North. I'd almost say he was North racist.
There's probably enough of a population in the UK for that to be a thing. There'll be comments like, "Everyone hates the North, fuck you, I like the North," and...
Okay, I'm going to smear my last spud on a lady.
Fucking God.
Watch out, female persuasion people. Here comes the spud.
Someone have sex with Yahtzee so we can have not his balls-related conversations next week.
Spud down the gob, spud down the gob. Hey, you like plants? I grew this spud for your face.
Thank you. It looks delicious.
Oh, no, that was a polite sort of brush off, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was her way of saying, "Get the fuck away from me."
What? Why did you throw a spud at my face? I'm not saying it wasn't arousing. More spuds.
More potatoes to throw at girls.
Everyone wants more of my delicious spuds.
If you built a potato cannon, you could more efficiently fire potatoes at women you liked.
Ah, well, that's
just,
the dream.
In this case, women that exist. I think there's probably more of it.
So yes, so that little conversation on Twitter basically ended with them saying, Alrighty then. There's nothing to be said. Someone's optioned a film.
Yeah.
In the world of news, this is right up there with Man Kicks Ball.
Hey Yahtzee, did you hear I'm making a dive kick movie?
What are all those...
I just need someone to write it and film it and, makeup artists. All to work for free, of course, because I have the idea. That's what I bring to the table.
I mean, you're getting exposure.
Yeah.
That's great.
Duh.
You might be able to get a decent job from this.
If anything, you should be paying me.
One.
I don't understand, like...
And don't hate on me for having big dreams, you assholes. Just because I'm not so jaded, I have to ask for money to buy food.
Dear God, asking for money.
I love the 4 exposure Twitter.
It is a funny thing.
What are those other film properties that have been in hell for years? I know Halo was there for a while. Peter Jackson was attached.
Yeah, that could have been interesting. Apparently the script was just a fucking violent war movie with aliens, which I can get behind.
The sentence "that could have been interesting" is the classic go nowhere film discussion phrase, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but that's why I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy. Is a lot of sci-fi has been a little, dry and attempting to be more profound than fun.
I want to put out a blanket rule now. Can we just assume that absolutely everything could be interesting?
Now I'm trying to think of something that couldn't possibly be interesting.
Notting Hill could have been interesting if they'd had Hugh Grant pull his trousers down and wave his meat and 2 veg back and forth like a church bell.
Kind of like a romantic comedy remake of Lars von Trier's The Idiots.
Yes, come on, think of one thing that couldn't be made interesting.
Well, see, that's hard for me, because I find a lot of stupid shit very interesting.
Well, look at you.
Well, it's stupid, mostly. But I mean, everything's kind of
This
interesting.
grass continues to infuriate me.
What about the other grass?
That's even lighter.
Well, speaking of the could be interesting...
Phew, almost broke a sweat there.
I almost worked a day. Okay, so, you know how there was a joke about making another Shaq Fu game?
Was there?
Yeah. Well, guess what? There's Kickstartering with an actual development team and Shaq.
Oh, bloody hell.
That's right. Myst 3.
Shaq in Myst 3.
Yeah, Shaq in Myst 3. It's actually just... It's kind of like Myst, but you go around the the mid-90s Bulls locker room.
That corner was driving me mad.
That was Jordan. I'm getting my basketball teams mixed up.
Yeah,
so Shaq Fu is...
I could make money faster if I had another patch.
Build another patch. Get your fucking hoe out.
I will. I'll get my hoe out.
Wow, there's some shades of Minecraft in this game, actually.
Oh, you were just handing me that on a silver platter, weren't you?
You got platters full of hoes.
I'm a farmer working through the night. Look at me, Mum.
This is a subsistence existence. My child won't follow in my footsteps. The farm will die and be bought by a vast agribusiness concern.
I think that was the most elaborate filler song you've ever made.
Yeah.
Your tendency towards can't think of anything to say, so we'll just sing a little song to fill space.
Fill space.
That was the most elaborate you've ever done, and I'm impressed.
I think well, there we go. There we go. So I knew I'd break you eventually. But I'm kind of curious about what the limits of irony are. Like...
Irony has no limits.
Yeah, I suppose. I had this thing in my head where if I was
It will never stop, it will never sleep, it will never die.
It just comes after
and
you.
It will not rest until you are dead.
Because I was thinking, if I was 60 and had no kids and was just like, all right, you're not gonna make any mark on the world. I was thinking, okay, I'll be like the ultimate of performance artists and be an ironic serial killer of other performance artists.
Yeah, that's always been my plan for after I've made all the money I'll ever need and made my creative input on the world. I'll just be a creative murderer.
Because I want to get caught, and I want to be standing, and I want to make the trial about what the limits of irony are. I want
to get caught, and I want to be fucking examined by experts for the next 200 years. That's my idea of a legacy. People will my books will become bestsellers, and everyone will pore over them looking for clues.
Okay, listeners, one of us is being serious. Try to guess which one. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
I just want to murder the world. What's wrong with that?
I want to murder performance artists. See, that's the difference.
I just want to wipe the smug smile off the faces of the human race.
I technically don't think it's murder if it's a performance artist. I think it's a form of euthanasia because they're clearly suffering so much.
Yes, if anything, the system was the murderer, man.
Poor
Oh,
us.
yes, it's turnip day.
Seriously, though, because, like, you know, the bar is next door to the Gallery of Modern Art.
But guess all this turnip for me.
And this one time, there was this man and a woman standing out front the gallery. The woman was shouting, "He's telling the truth," and the man was shouting, "She's telling a lie." And this went on for, like...
See, at what point does performance art just become two homeless people?
Well, I tend to interpret homeless people as performance art. That's... I think it's much more fun. I've always wanted to find, like a really hateful street preacher and just put, like, a, you know, guitar case with some change in front of him. And suddenly it changes it, now it's an act. Yeah. But, I mean, that is, like... Fisher-Price, Baby's First Paradox, and they're there passionately shouting it, and fuck, I just wanted to hit them. Just knock their heads together and just go, stop what you're doing. And I hate that attitude about modern art where it's just like, I could have, you know, I could have done that, yeah, but you didn't. And it's like, yeah, I didn't do it because it's a shitty idea and you're a moron. That's the fucking reason.
Is it me, or has this Shaq Fu story led you into a sort of personal grudge tangent?
Everything can become a personal grudge tangent.
Yes, this grass ain't
performance artists, come on. This
grass isn't so smug anymore.
Horrible people. The thing is, the Shaq Fu game that they're actually sort of working on looks a little bit like Guacamelee and Mark of the Ninja. Like, I know they're slightly different games, but it looks like that kind of 3D is 2D with reasonable enough fight mechanics. Like, there's a fair few of those little brawlers rolling around these days.
It is definitely the sort of thing that only Kickstarter would produce, isn't it?
Yeah, and would only get distribution on, like, Steam and Xbox Live.
This kind of reminds me of when Chuck Norris jokes became a book, and people were talking about making it into a film. I think when you reach that point, it's reached people who don't really get the irony, you know?
Yeah. Well, didn't that start as Vin Diesel jokes? Like, well, you're a Something Awful forum goon.
Yes, it started on the Something Awful forums with, actually, I'm not sure. I think it started with either Vin Diesel or Chuck Norris, and the other one was the alternative.
Because I think it was Vin Diesel. And I think doing it about Vin Diesel would be better, because Vin Diesel is actually sort of at least interesting and not a bizarre fundamentalist zealot anus. Like Chuck Norris is.
There you go with your personal grudge again.
Yeah, dude, he supported Mike Huckabee and has weird ideas about homosexuality. He's not a good...
Well, he's such a manly man.
Good person.
It's his problem.
Hey, so was Rock Hudson, and that dude was gay. Rock Hudson was like the man. I mean, his name is Rock fucking Hudson.
What do you expect of a guy called Rock? That's clearly overcompensation.
I'm the manliest goddamn thing that will ever exist.
I never...
maybe that's because that's just compared to him, everything was feminine.
I never elaborated on what part of me was like a rock, nor in what circumstances it was like a rock.
Like, that's probably just the thing. Rock Hudson was only straight, because comparatively everything was female.
I love wheelies, I love wheelies.
That sunk up with the music.
IT crowd reference. I wasn't expressing a personal opinion.
It wasn't.
Although I do love my own willy, others I can take or leave.
I remember, like, because generally for a heterosexual male, seeing one penis more than your penis in the course of a day is a bit of a surprise. Like, you're just not expecting to see a dick. So, there was this kid getting dragged out of Rosie's where I used to work, which was the fucking shitty bar. Like, people think I only ever worked at the Manor Bar. I was like, I did this shit for 6 years, man. I worked in dives.
Don't tangent.
Well, no, but this kid, his pants came down, and I turn around and there's just dick. And that was a surprise.
That was your whole world at that point.
Yeah, it was
Must have been a fucking big dick.
Entire world was just dick. No, it was just average size. But here's the thing: he had no pubes, nor did he have even a trace of pubes.
This is getting weird, Gabe.
You've spoken about your...
You're talking about looking at a kid's pubeless willy now.
Well, he wasn't like a kid. He
and
was
how
like
it suddenly became your entire world.
Yeah, it was.
It sounds like a line from Brokeback Mountain.
Like hairless.
Your hairless dick is my whole world now, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Like pale too. It's just...
How old was this kid?
Like 19. Like, you know, I'm like 31.
I was worried for a second.
No, yeah, it was a kid at a bar. Like, he was 8. Yeah, it was just naked kids at the bars in Australia. That's fine.
Some bars allow kids in. Like family pubs.
Yeah, those are pubs. That's a different beast altogether. This was a club.
Alright.
It's one of those. Oh god, I hated that bar. When when Lonely Island released that song "I'm on a Boat."
Man, we are tangenting like crazy.
Well, yeah, you've been watering cubes for like the past 10 minutes.
Well, what was even your point about when you were bringing up the cock?
I've forgotten now.
I know what my point is when I'm bringing up the cock.
Yeah, that's right, because we started out on a tangent where you were just talking about how you love your willy and then can take or leave other willies. And then I thought, I have an actual fucking anecdote that's not just talking about your preferences for various penises.
Basically, I've forgotten this entire conversation up to now. That's what Harvest Moon does to you.
The relentless grind of farming slowly drives Yahtzee closer and closer to full-blown homosexuality.
Anyway, fluffy topic. What's your favourite cock, Gabe? Well, I guess my point is that if they actually make a Shaq Fu 2, that's taking an ironic joke a little bit too far.
That's what I mean. Like, how...
I mean, it's a funny sort of... It's like Quentin Tarantino making Machete and all those other films. It was a...
Well, that was the
It was
Robert
a vaguely
Rodriguez.
funny joke when it was a spoof trailer in Grindhouse.
That was Robert Rodriguez, and to be fair, he's always been quasi-spoof.
But once you actually make it, I think that's just... I guess it's like it's like telling a joke and then like sitting around going, "Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said?" And then doing that for 3 hours.
You know what we should do? We should make a super ironic game about the development of Shaq 2. Like, we should just get the faces of the developers. We should make a bizarre, ironic Tetris-style puzzle game about the production of Shaq Fu 2.
Well, again, if this game actually is made, again, the irony has gone too far. And now we're in worlds within worlds of irony. Well, we're lost in the irony sea.
This is what I said when...
We're having to drink our irony piss, ironically.
This is what I said when fucking Duke Nukem came out, is that was the unicorn existing. And it may have been a shitty fucking feral unicorn, but still, it's a fucking unicorn. We live in a world now where nothing is forgotten, so just, Shaq 2 can fucking happen. Yeah. Fueled by pure ironic absurdity alone. That's why I keep telling, Cormac at the bar that I want to put a drink on the menu called the stupid shitty drink for shitty fucking jerks, because I know people will buy that just for the irony joke. I fucking know it. That thing will sell.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually, man.
Yeah, stupid shitty drink for shitty fucking jerks. I'll get that, because I'm not a shitty jerk, and that's the joke.
Well... Yeah, I guess that's how you beat the irony, people. You learn how to exploit them.
Just stay indoors and hide from it all. I don't know, irony's fun. I like irony, but when it... does it have a critical mass? Am I just being paranoid? Is it just my limit, or is there a limit? Is it something ineffable? I don't know.
What do you mean when you say irony? It has so many definitions.
I know,
well,
that's, again, that's...
I mean, the bare definition is saying something when you mean the opposite.
Yeah, with the literal different... Yeah, when the way we friendlily call each other cockhole and stuff like that.
In one of my all-time most favorited tweets was when I said, it's not irony if you're saying something that you genuinely think. If you say you ironically like Transformers when you actually just plain old like Transformers, yeah. That's not irony, you dumb shit.
Yeah, I think what people would mean in that circumstance is it's a guilty pleasure, where you know it's stupid but you like it anyway.
This is a central theme of my second book, Jam, in which the heroes come up against a cult of hipsters who do everything ironically without really understanding what irony is. I think I've shilled my book enough.
It's been out for a while, people will have bought it.
Yeah, buy it again. It's an audiobook now. I keep forgetting to put up... I put up like a little trailer video on the end of Zero Punctuation once when the audiobook came out, but I keep forgetting to put that up on my YouTube channel just by itself. Get some extra eyes on it.
Put it on midweek. Is the midweek video becoming a regular thing now? We're going to do that as well?
No. I mean, fuck, I don't need another obligation. We do it when we can be asked. That is the rule.
You are lucky we have an arse to spare.
Yes. We're not massively overburdened with arses, I've got to say.
No, technically I should be doing some reading right now, but I got a fair chop of it done, so...
That's right, you're back at uni, aren't you?
Yeah.
I won't ask further, because no one cares.
It's fun. University. It's good for you. I think it's something retirees should do more. I think there should be, provisions aside to help retirees get into university education.
Going, not to steamroll you or anything, but going back to what you said about how we live in a world where nothing can be forgotten, that's one of the things I resent about the internet. Because all the shitty stuff I made before, the good stuff I now make, is now there for all to see.
I'm gonna look at that when I get home later today.
Please
I need some fodder to tease you with.
Please don't. The person who made those no longer exists.
Well, I know that. You're talking to a person who's a firm advocate and believer in massive personal change. But I'm also a firm advocate and believer in teasing people, so it's,
Alright.
You get a bit of both. You can tease me about shit I've done.
It just annoys me that all my old stuff is still on the internet. So people might look at my new stuff and go, "Ooh, that's quite good. I like that."
I'll dig back into his back catalogue.
Yes, I'll go and see what else he's done, which I'm sure will also be good. Then I'll see all the absolute crap I've made.
Well, I mean,
that will be their last exposure to my work, and
what's
they will
the really
go away.
embarrassing? Well, what's one really embarrassing one? Talk about it, and that way you own it. That way you possess the shame.
Okay. Well, I made a shitty webcomic when I was like 18.
Oh, awesome!
I made it in MS Paint.
This is what I like about having really low self-esteem when I was young, and B, the internet not being as, Web 2.0 having not been as permeated as it is today, where all of the dumb shit I did was written down in, like, textbooks and shit that's now gone, that is burnt. I set fire to them all. People can't see it.
Hey, the horse here. Time for Berryface.
I think she's more of a wood nymph, actually. I think that's technically...
A wood nymph who also works at the bar.
I will admit I would absolutely love to have sex with a girl in a forest.
Actually, I think there's something else around here that provokes her slightly more impressed response. And I think,
beard?
I think it's this random weed. Hey, look at this dandelion I just found.
Maybe it's got...
I'm going to smear this on your face as well. Let's see if you like butter. Yeah, that's the more positive response.
It smells so
good. Why did she turn into Mrs. Butterworth for a second?
I don't know.
One of my thoughts for this video was to do the whole thing in a West Country accent.
Please just do that from now.
Shall we just start that now, then?
Okay.
Hello, I'm a farmer. I'm running a lovely farm in anime world. I'm trying to get my rocks off with a bunch of sexy whores.
Please touch my penis.
Who are all paid in turnips.
Oh god, my penis misses when I used to work in a bar.
Now I'm gonna go to bed, and maybe tomorrow the turnip fairy will have come.
I'm gonna drill a hole in my turnip and fuck it.
Oh, I hope it's gonna rain.
Is there any other, like, it's just... Does it snow? Like, do you get snow?
Well, it snows in winter.
Oh, okay.
It snows all
That's
the fucking
right.
time,
I forgot
actually.
that.
Sometimes you get cyclones, as I said, but we've been lucky so far. Well,
It's a shame
I
there aren't
say
giant
lucky.
monsters.
I say it might liven things up.
Something will happen. Something, please God, happen.
Who's growing all this rice to make rice balls that I keep pulling out of my pocket? Maybe I just got a little rice farm in my arse.
You got pocket rice. It's a popular...
That's when we knew our son had to go off and be a farmer. It was when he was growing his own rice in his arsehole. We were going, this kid's a fucking natural.
Every time I see a white guy with dreads, I want to plant, like, bean sprouts in there, because I reckon they could sprout before he'd notice.
Yeah. Maybe strawberries.
Yeah.
Strawberries,
I'd do that
strawberries
if I
grow
was...
in a row.
Yeah, like if I was...
Or grapes. And
Grapes.
Each one could be a vine for the grapes.
Yeah.
And then that would also be a great fashion accessory.
And then you'd
once
be
they
a
come out.
symbiote. Like, you'd have a symbiotic relationship with the plant going.
Yeah, this is starting to sound like a great idea.
I'm surprised I haven't seen this on the internet already. Like, it seems... I mean, I thought about this, and I'm not even, like,
Well, presumably...
trying to live on a self-sufficient vegan farm.
Presumably, if you do try to grow food in your hair, you run into practical problems. Like sleeping, for example.
People sleep in hairnets in weird ways, you can just flop it out behind you and lay on your back, and then, strawberries.
It depends on what you're growing.
Yeah.
Maybe if you grew cress in your hair. Cress is easy to grow.
Well, I was thinking, like, bean sprouts or watercress, something along those lines, like... Or just turf, even. Like, just some turf seeds, get a nice green going. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Not much nutrition in cress, I must say.
Yeah. Is it just water and vague solid?
Maybe you could also slice skin off your leg and then eat it like ham. And then the cress you could just add to the ham sandwich.
Hello, I am an ecosystem. The fucking get away from me. That is gonna be the final evolution of vegans. Well, not the final evolution, but they'll... And I don't mean, like, vegans as in people who just don't eat, like, animal products. I mean the full tilt, like...
So I don't get those people who get lost in the wilderness and chop their whole limb off to eat. Why don't they just slice, thin slices of ham off their thighs? Then it will grow back.
Well, I think that's a lot of painful experiences spread out as opposed to one painful experience over and done with.
Well,
that's like giving birth to a baby a limited time.
But if you can't preserve the meat, a lot of that leg's going to go to waste, isn't it? It's like Christopher McCandless in the wild. He killed a stag, but he couldn't eat most of it or preserve it, so most of it just went to the maggots.
Yeah.
Dumb motherfucker.
Well, you have to do the fucking lion thing where you just eat as much as you possibly, like, you eat until you are almost sick.
Well, yes, you probably would be sick pretty quickly if you knelt down next to a dead stag and started chomping away.
Well, I mean, had he killed it, or did he just find it?
No, he killed it. He brought a gun with him.
Huh. Oh, is that guy that died?
Yeah, the Into the Wild guy.
Like the exceptionally stupid version of Hugh Fernley Whittingstall.
He was smart enough to bring a gun, and he actually survived for, like, quite a while, like...
That is...
something like a year, maybe.
Still heroically stupid.
So he was getting food somewhere.
Did he even do any research? I mean...
I think he had a book. One of the artifacts they found next to his corpse.
An SAS survival guide.
Was a book of plants local to the area.
Even that's not fucking, like, exactly safe, man. I've seen Hugh Fernley Whittingstall go on mushroom gathering.
Yeah, I think one of the theories for how he died was that he confused a very similar looking poisonous sweet pea for wild sweet potato, I think.
Yeah, like, there was an episode of Hugh where he went around with a well-known mushroom hunter, and it's like, here's this one. It tastes like hot buttered popcorn. It's lovely.
And it'll kill you.
No. And then here's this one that looks exactly like it, except the leaves wilt to the left, not the right. It's fucking lethal. And Hugh had picked, like, lethal one at some point, and he's just like, this is literally dangerous. You can't go wandering around just picking up shit and putting it in your mouth.
Makes you wonder what the motive of the plant is. Most plants want to be eaten because it spreads the seeds around.
Well, I think this is a fungus, and fungus operate differently.
Bloody fungus. Spoiling the fun for everyone else.
Fungus are weird. Earth's weird. There's weird shit on this fucking planet, man.
Man, this town's dead on a Sunday night.
You're a kanji jellyfish. Jellyfish in general, like, what the fuck is it? It's just a glob of, like, barely anything.
Well, I know what the Portuguese man of war is.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of much smaller jelly-like animals.
It's like just a multicellular organism.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's just sort of a bunch of single cells just Voltroned together or something.
It's one crazy motherfucker, the Portuguese man of war.
And they're so dangerous. Like, it's this tiny glob of nothing and it's fucking lethal. It's like the cone shell.
So, in the summary, just because we've reached an hour now.
Oh, okay. Yahtzee needs his pole waxed. Batman Arkham Knight could be interesting. So could movie adaptations of Minecraft and The Last of Us, and Shaq Fu is irony.
I don't need my pole waxed, I need my cock sucked.
Good
night, world.